The A-Team became a beloved TV classic from 1983 to 1987, thanks to its unforgettable characters, thrilling missions, and iconic catchphrases. The dynamic cast, led by George Peppard and Mr. T, became household names, with their adventures leaving an indelible mark on pop culture. But what happened to the stars of the A-Team after the final episode aired? As we reach the 42-year mark in 2025, it's time to look back and see how the cast members' lives have evolved since the show's end. From continued fame to personal transformations, join us as we explore where the stars of the A-Team are now and how their roles in the legendary series shaped their futures. George Peppard, born on October 1, 1928, played the iconic role of John Hannibal Smith in the A-Team in 1983, at the age of 55. Hannibal, the wily leader of the A-Team, was a mastermind known for his love of disguises and his catchphrase, "I love it when a plan comes together." However, Peppard's personal life was anything but a well-thought-out plan. Behind his charming, confident on-screen persona, Peppard struggled with alcoholism and often made headlines for his volatile relationships. He was married 4 times, each ending in divorce, with some claiming he was a difficult and distant husband. His outbursts on set became notorious, with reports of Peppard's feuds with co-stars, especially Mr. T, whom he famously clashed with over money and egos. His career was marked by a brief rise to stardom, but a subsequent decline due to his hard-drinking lifestyle and trouble with studio executives who tired of his behavior. His last years were marked by declining health, eventually leading to pneumonia, which claimed his life on May 8, 1994 at 65. Robert Vaughn, born November 22, 1932, was 54 years old when he joined the A-Team in 1986, portraying the manipulative General Hunt Stockwell. Stockwell was a calculating character, using the A-Team for his own covert purposes. Off-screen, Vaughn's real life was marked by both triumphs and controversies. While he gained fame for his role in The Man from UNCLE, his outspoken nature made him a polarizing figure. Vaughn was deeply involved in political activism, frequently clashing with Hollywood elites over his outspoken left-wing views. He even faced backlash for his criticism of American politics and the Vietnam War. Yet his personal life was equally tumultuous, with rumors of numerous affairs and a rocky marriage that seemed to mirror the dysfunction he portrayed on screen. Vaughn's professional career also faltered due to typecasting and his unwillingness to play by Hollywood's unwritten rules, leading to a series of financial setbacks. He passed away on November 11, 2016 at 83. Lance Legault, born May 2, 1935, brought the tough, no-nonsense character of Colonel Decker to life on the A-Team in 1983 at the age of 48. Decker was a relentless, no-mercy military officer determined to capture the A-Team, a role that cemented Legault's place in action TV. Yet off-screen, Legault's career wasn't as smooth as his gravelly voice might suggest. He became typecast in military roles, often struggling to break free from the shadow of his character. His personal life, marked by 2 marriages, was plagued by scandal and whispers of an abusive temper. Legault was known to clash with directors and co-stars, his combative nature earning him a reputation as hard to work with. His off-set behavior often mirrored his on-screen characters, intense, demanding, and controlling. Legault's career was a constant battle for respect, one that didn't come easy. His later years were marked by bitterness, as he felt increasingly overlooked in Hollywood, leading to his retreat from the public eye. His death from heart failure on September 10, 2012 at 77 came after years of health problems. John Carter, born on November 26, 1927, in Center Ridge, Arkansas, portrayed the fake Hannibal Smith in the A-Team at age 56 in 1983. His character, though a brief portrayal, left an indelible mark on the series. However, Carter's personal and professional life was far from idyllic. Although known for playing authoritative roles, his off-screen life was turbulent. Behind the persona of the tough actor, Carter was grappling with health problems that would plague him in his later years. His struggles weren't just physical, his personal life was marked by frequent divorces, leaving a trail of fractured relationships. The actor's career faltered as his health worsened, and he was largely forgotten by the time of his death on May 23, 2015 at 87. Carter's decline was a slow, painful journey into obscurity, and his later years were overshadowed by pneumonia and the weight of his earlier life choices. What many didn't know was how much of a battle he fought just to maintain his dignity in the face of both physical and emotional collapse. Jack Jing, born November 30, 1931, portrayed General Harlan Bull Fulbright in the A-Team at 52. His character was tough, no-nonsense, and unwavering, a reflection of Jing's own off-screen persona, but his real-life struggles were more complicated. Jing's career in westerns and action-packed TV shows was built on rugged, dependable roles, but his personal life unraveled in a series of failed marriages and public scandals. His aggressive demeanor and difficulty connecting with his peers led to a reputation for being difficult on set, with some accusing him of manipulating situations to get his way. His life was further marred by a series of unfortunate health issues in his later years, including a long battle with chronic pain. These struggles were exacerbated by his failed attempts to re-enter the spotlight, often chasing roles that never materialized. His personal life was a reflection of a man haunted by his past, and his death on September 9, 2022 at 90 was a quiet end to a career that had seen more than its fair share of controversy. Danny Wells, born on April 7, 1941, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, played the role of Artie Simmons, a film director, in the A-Team in 1983 at the age of 42. Although his character was minor, Wells left a lasting impression in his few scenes. Off-screen, however, Wells' career had a darker edge. Though he gained some fame for his portrayal of Luigi in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, he was often typecast in comedic roles, something that seemed to haunt him throughout his career. Despite his early success, Wells struggled with significant challenges behind the scenes. His personal life, riddled with health issues, became a source of strain. Wells had long battles with alcoholism, a vice that marred his relationships and led to several career setbacks. His marriage crumbled under the weight of his addiction, and his career stagnated as offers dwindled. By the time of his death on November 28, 2013 at 72, he had largely faded from the public eye, his life a testament to the toll that addiction and typecasting can take on a person. Red West, born March 8, 1936, brought his physicality to the A-Team as Lieutenant Trask in 1983 at 47. West was known for his deep connections to Elvis Presley, serving as one of his bodyguards, but off-screen, his life was plagued by scandal and the pressures of living in Presley's shadow. Red's tell-all book about his years with Elvis caused a media frenzy, with many questioning his loyalty to the late king of rock and roll. His candid revelations about Presley's troubled personal life and drug addiction were seen as a betrayal by some of Elvis's closest friends. Beyond his association with Presley, West struggled with an ongoing battle against personal demons, including alcohol and infidelity, which left him estranged from his own family. Though his career as a stuntman and songwriter was successful, his personal life crumbled under the weight of his own failings. West's later years were marked by relative isolation, and he passed away on July 18, 2017 at 81 after years of physical and emotional suffering. Alan Fudge, born on February 27, 1944, in Wichita, Kansas, took on the role of Elliot Farnell in the A-Team at the age of 39 in 1983. His portrayal of a businessman caught in the crossfire of the team's operations was solid, but it was Fudge's off-screen story that made his life compelling. A respected character actor, Fudge's career in television and film was steady but marked by typecasting. However, his personal life was filled with far darker moments. Fudge had a history of unhealthy relationships, many of which ended poorly. His marriages were troubled, and his relationships with his children were strained, often due to his intense, work-focused nature. He also had an unfortunate history of making enemies in the industry, leading to long periods of unemployment and financial instability. The actor's struggle with smoking and drinking ultimately contributed to his death on October 10, 2011 at 67, a sad end to a life marked by both career highs and personal lows. Dana Elcar, born October 10, 1927, portrayed Judge Leonard Mordente and George Olson on the A-Team, 1984, at 57. A respected actor, Elcar was known for his commanding presence, often playing authority figures. His most memorable role outside the A-Team was as Pete Thornton in MacGyver. However, Elcar's career took a heartbreaking turn when he lost his sight to glaucoma in the 1980s. This was a cruel blow, not only because of the physical toll but also because it slowly made him less visible in Hollywood. Despite this, Elcar's determination to keep working led him to advocate for the blind, raising awareness for their rights. On a personal level, his vision loss strained his relationships, and the emotional toll seemed to compound as his health deteriorated. His later years were marked by a quiet decline, away from the limelight, and his death on June 6, 2005 at 77 from pneumonia marked the end of a career both admired and overshadowed by the cruelty of illness. Morgan Woodward, born September 16, 1925, brought to life the tough-as-nails Bus Carter and Captain Winnetka on the A-Team, 1983, at 58. Known for his stoic performances, Woodward's portrayal of authority figures left a lasting impact. However, his career was not as straightforward as it appeared. Though celebrated for his roles in Dallas and Cool Hand Luke, his personal life was far from glamorous. He faced personal demons, including isolation and bitterness about his perceived lack of recognition beyond his roles as tough, authoritative figures. Woodward's personal relationships were strained, and in his later years, he struggled with poor health, which only worsened as he aged. His later career had fewer opportunities, and the man who once commanded attention seemed relegated to the shadows. By the time of his death on February 22, 2019 at 93, he had retreated from public life, leaving behind a career defined more by what he didn't achieve than by what he did. Anthony James, born July 22, 1942, became infamous for his roles as menacing villains Connors and Flagg on the A-Team, 1984, at 42. His frightening on-screen presence and unforgettable features made him a sought-after actor in the 1970s and 80s, especially in westerns. However, his career became tragically trapped in typecasting. James struggled to break free from the villainous roles that defined him, making it difficult for him to find complex, sympathetic characters. This created a professional void that left him frustrated and bitter. Behind the scenes, James faced deep personal turmoil, battling loneliness and alienation, feeling misunderstood by Hollywood. He often spoke about the emotional toll of being defined by a single character, and in the years following his A-Team fame, he became increasingly reclusive. His tragic death on May 26, 2020 at 77 from cancer closed a chapter in an actor's life marked by an industry that couldn't see beyond his menacing exterior, leaving him largely uncelebrated for his true potential. Dwight Schultz, born November 24, 1947, was the unpredictable howling Mad Murdoch on the A-Team, 1983, at 36. His eccentric, often chaotic character mirrored his own personal and professional upheavals. Behind the scenes, Schultz grappled with deep psychological issues, including a struggle with mental health, which he later became outspoken about. While his portrayal of Murdoch captivated audiences, Schultz faced intense inner turmoil that made his personal relationships difficult. His political views, sometimes controversial, alienated fans and colleagues, further complicating his career. As an actor, Schultz experienced long stretches of unemployment, a bitter reflection of his personal struggles with fame. In recent years, Schultz has kept a lower profile, continuing his voice acting career while publicly advocating for mental health awareness. However, the darkness of his internal battles continues to overshadow his once promising career. He is now 77 in 2025. Mr. T, born Lawrence Turode on May 21, 1952, is best known for his role as B.A. Baracus on the A-Team, 1983, at 31, where he became an icon of toughness and compassion. Off-screen, Mr. T's tough guy persona was both his greatest asset and his greatest burden. His personal life was marred by public struggles, including a high-profile battle with cancer in the 1990s. Despite his fame, Mr. T's transition from the iconic A-Team to other projects proved difficult. He faced a series of financial setbacks and failed ventures that left his career in tatters. His tough exterior couldn't protect him from the mental strain of constant public scrutiny. Behind closed doors, Mr. T faced financial struggles, battles with addiction, and bouts of depression. His personal life also included strained relationships, some of which were marked by infidelity and personal betrayal. In recent years, he has attempted a comeback but remains a figure of public interest overshadowed by the lingering effects of his troubled past. He is now 72 years old. Tony Chicone, born on June 14, 1960, in New York City, was 23 when he appeared in the A-Team as a parking attendant/orderly in a minor role. Despite his fleeting appearance, Chicone's career would be even more fleeting, characterized by roles that didn't make much of an impact. Little is known about his personal life, as Chicone kept a low profile throughout his career. However, the absence of substantial work and media attention led many to speculate about his struggles behind the scenes. Rumors of severe financial issues and personal turmoil have occasionally surfaced, but nothing definitive ever came to light. Chicone's exit from Hollywood was nearly as quiet as his arrival, as he seemingly disappeared from the spotlight without a trace. Today, he is 64 and known to live a reclusive life, with few records of his activities since his brief moment in Hollywood's limelight. Dirk Benedict, born on March 1, 1945, in Helena, Montana, was 38 years old when he portrayed the suave and cunning Templeton-faced man Peck in the A-Team, 1983. His character was the charming conman who could talk his way out of anything, leaving a trail of admirers in his wake. Off-screen, Benedict, known for his stint in Battlestar Galactica, became notorious for his controversial stances on health and diet. While advocating for alternative therapies, he attracted scorn for dismissing modern medicine. His personal life mirrored some of the disarray of his fictional character, with a tumultuous string of relationships and a highly publicized divorce. His struggle with the fame that came from the A-Team led to a spiraling career, with numerous failed projects and whispers of his difficulty working with others on set. His penchant for high-risk stunts off-camera also gained him a reputation as a reckless individual, further tarnishing his public image. His post-A-Team years saw him fading from Hollywood's limelight, largely due to his unwillingness to compromise on his beliefs. He is now 80 in 2025. Melinda Kule, born on May 5, 1955, in Western Springs, Illinois, was 28 when she brought Amy Amanda Allen to life in the A-Team. Amy, a reporter with a sharp mind and a resourceful nature, was an integral part of the team's dynamic. However, Kule's departure from the show in its second season raised more than a few eyebrows, with rumors swirling about her clashes with producers over the direction of her character. This exit marked the start of her decline in the industry. Despite an early start on TV and a few notable roles like Dear Teacher, Kule struggled to land leading parts after the A-Team. Behind the scenes, Kule's personal life was often a tabloid topic. She was entangled in a series of failed relationships, with an infamous affair with a co-star that made waves in Hollywood at the time. Her later years were filled with frustration, her career left in tatters by a series of poor choices and rumors of substance abuse that she denied publicly, but which caused an irreversible dent in her reputation. Kule's last known appearance on screen was a distant echo of her former potential. She is now 69 years old. Marla Heasley, born on September 4, 1959, in Hollywood, California, was 24 when she took on the role of Tanya Baker in the A-Team. Tanya was a tough, resourceful woman who proved invaluable to the team. However, Heasley's time on the show was cut short, and her career soon fizzled out. Though she had a promising start with roles in Riptide and The Love Boat, her career trajectory was marred by a series of poor career choices and on-set conflicts that tarnished her reputation. Heasley's personal life was no less complicated. She experienced a tumultuous marriage that ended in a highly publicized and bitter divorce. Her ex-husband, a high-profile businessman, was rumored to have been involved in illegal activities, further fueling the media frenzy. In later years, Heasley was rarely seen in public, and whispers of her struggling with mental health issues surfaced. Despite brief attempts at reviving her acting career, she was quickly overshadowed by the stars of her era, leaving her largely forgotten. She is now 65 in 2025. Carl Franklin, born on April 11, 1949, in Richmond, California, was 34 when he appeared as Captain Crane in the A-Team. His role, though minor, left a lasting impression on the audience. Yet, Franklin's life outside of the A-Team was often overshadowed by personal challenges. While his career in acting took off with one false move, it was his work as a director in the 1990s that defined his success. However, Franklin's fame was tinged with scandal. Known for his intense personality, he earned a reputation for on-set conflicts and clashes with production teams. Behind closed doors, his relationships were equally turbulent, marked by a bitter divorce that made headlines and strained his ties with his children. His personal struggles with alcohol were no secret, and there were whispers of his being banned from certain projects due to his unprofessional behavior. The once promising star's trajectory took a downward turn, leaving him largely relegated to smaller roles in indie films. His personal life and battles with substance abuse would continue to haunt him as he sought stability. He is now 75 years old. Eddie Veles, born on June 4, 1958, in New York City, was 28 when he joined the A-Team as the explosive Frankie Santana. A charming, fast-talking mechanic with a knack for special effects, Veles quickly became a fan favorite. Yet, Veles's journey in Hollywood was far from smooth. His rise to fame was followed by a series of missteps. After leaving the A-Team, Veles found himself caught in a cycle of typecasting, with few roles that deviated from his action-oriented persona. Behind the scenes, Veles's career was derailed by multiple run-ins with the law, including an arrest for a violent altercation with a fellow actor. His relationships were equally messy, with a marriage that ended in a scandalous divorce that kept gossip columns busy. In a shocking turn, Veles's financial troubles came to light, leading to the loss of his family home in a highly publicized bankruptcy case. Despite some attempts at career comebacks, he was never able to regain the fame he had enjoyed in the 80s. Isiah Carlos, born on January 29, 1942, in Cabo Rojo, Puerto Rico, played Alvarez in Captain Cordoba in the A-Team, 1983, at the age of 41. Known for his commanding presence, Carlos' career seemed steady, with notable appearances in films like Eraser and Patch Adams. However, rumors of dark personal secrets began to circulate in the late 80s. Carlos' career trajectory began to plummet after he became involved in a scandal surrounding a failed production in the early 90s, where he was accused of unethical behavior on set. His temper and increasing paranoia led to reports of his aggressive behavior towards co-stars and directors, further alienating him from Hollywood. His personal life mirrored the collapse of his career. His marriage ended in a messy divorce, with his wife accusing him of emotional abuse and manipulation. His children distanced themselves from him, and Carlos struggled with depression. By 2025, Carlos is 83 and rumored to have retreated into relative isolation, seeking solace in his family in Puerto Rico, away from the limelight. Tony Brewbaker, born on April 6, 1946, in Los Angeles, California, portrayed Bantu in fake B.A. Baracus in the A-Team, 1983, at the age of 37. Brewbaker, like many stuntmen of his era, struggled with being typecast in action roles, and his career quickly waned after his brief stint in the A-Team. Despite his early success, Brewbaker's personal life was filled with chaos. His struggle with addiction to painkillers, a consequence of his stunt work, led to multiple rehabs and failed attempts to revive his career. Brewbaker's relationship with his wife was highly publicized, culminating in an ugly divorce filled with allegations of domestic abuse, which further tarnished his image. In the 1990s, Brewbaker was implicated in a series of confrontations with fellow stunt performers, resulting in lawsuits and the loss of several high-paying contracts. By the time he turned 50, Brewbaker had disappeared from Hollywood, with no clear explanation of his whereabouts. Now at 78, he once promising stuntman became a shadow of his former self, his addiction problems and volatile behavior preventing him from ever regaining the spotlight. Michael Delano, born on November 26, 1940, in New York City, played Johnny Angel and Kyle Mason in the A-Team, 1984, at the age of 44. While Delano's minor roles in the A-Team were forgettable, his off-screen antics were far more memorable. Delano's career was tainted by a series of scandals that began when he was arrested for a bar brawl in the late 1980s, which was the first sign of his declining mental state. Despite a long career in television and film, Delano's reputation was marred by allegations of drug use and violent behavior on set, with several actors accusing him of verbal abuse. His personal life was no less tumultuous, as his marriage fell apart due to his infidelity and emotional distance. His children eventually cut ties with him after he was caught in a high-profile affair with a co-star. Delano's life spiraled downward in the 1990s as he became a frequent subject of tabloid gossip. By 2025, he is 84 and remains a forgotten figure in Hollywood, his legacy tarnished by his troubled personal life and volatile career. Who's your favorite character from the A-Team? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.